Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. And so this is about bacterial infection. And so the article is out of the Global News. There's more than one article, though, on this situation. So this one in particular is entitled Woman Dies After Contracting Rare Bacterial Infection from the Dog Bite. And this is by Alyssa Julie. And so here's the woman picture. The woman is from Wisconsin. She died late June after contracting capnocytophaga, which is a rare bacterial infection from the dog bite. So I'm going to go into this article and read it, and then I will play the video. But before the video, I'm going to read the rest of the article. So roughly a week after a man said that he had his hands and legs amputated because of a bacterial infection linked to a dog's saliva. A Wisconsin woman, her family has come forward with a similar story. They say she developed the same infection and it killed her. So the woman's husband told WTMJ TV's Katie Crowther he's still in shock after his wife's sudden death. Okay, so that man that this article is referring to is this article right here that was just put out not very long ago. And they had it on the news about this man. He also caught a very similar infection. He didn't die, but he lost his legs, the use of his legs, up to about the kneecap. And they're doing some work on his nose because most of that looks like it's rotted away from the bacteria infection. And up to where his elbows are, he have been amputated. So he's also a man's legs amputated after dog licks lead to infection. His family put out an article. And so this man, he's from Wisconsin. He had lost both his legs, or the use of them, and both of his arms, and they're doing some work on his nose. And so this is the story that we're looking at. This woman here, same infection. So Sharon Larson died at the end of June after their new puppy, Bo, nipped at her, causing a small cut. Her husband, Dan Larson, said she developed severe flu-like symptoms and died in the hospital 2 days later. WTMJ TV reports. She was just 58 years old. Doctors said she had tested positive for this rare disease, capnocytophaga. So I was told she could get stuck or struck by lightning 4 times and live. Win the lottery twice, Dan told Crowther. That's how rare this is supposed to be. Okay, so Capnocytophaga is a bacteria that dogs or cats can spread to humans through close contact, such as a bite or a lick. Illness is rare, but when it occurs, symptoms will show up within 3 to 5 days, according to the Center of Disease Control. Long-term side effects can include gangrene, heart attack, and kidney failure. In some cases, as with Larson, an infection can even be deadly. Dan said doctors put his wife on antibiotics, but they didn't do anything. I feel like I got robbed, lost my right arm, my best friend, he told WTMJ TV. Earlier this month, same disease, bacteria infection, a Wisconsin man, Greg Mantefol, told reporters he developed capnocytophaga from a dog's lick. Mantefol said a week after his diagnosis, doctors had to amputate both his hands and his legs. Larson's family is urging people to be cautious around their pets. And so the woman is big. This is her with the dog. And so I'm going to play the video. So bear with me. There may be even a commercial with this, because usually in the beginning they will go to a commercial.
Looking through old photos is bittersweet.
Brings back the good memories.
Dan's wife Sharon died suddenly at the end of June. She was 58, a devoted mother and grandmother.
I feel like you got robbed. Lost my best friend.
Their new dog Bo nipped at Sharon, causing a small cut. After severe flu-like symptoms, Dan brought her to Wheaton Franciscan. Within 2 days, she was gone. Doctors told him she tested positive for capnocytophaga, a bacteria found in the saliva of most dogs and cats. For most of us, it has no effect, but for some, like Sharon and this West Bend man who had his arms and legs amputated, it can have devastating consequences. Now, the CDC doesn't track this because it is so infrequent, but we're hearing about it. It's happening.
She could get struck by lightning 4 times and live, win the lottery twice, and that's how rare this is supposed to be.
Infectious disease doctor Sylvia Munoz Price says people should not panic over these recent cases.
It is not reported because they are fairly infrequent. We are exposed to many organisms every day. And most of us, the majority, 99.999% of people never get infections.
The people typically affected are over 40, have weakened immune systems, their spleen removed, or compromised liver function. When it comes to dogs and cats, they can test positive for the bacteria one day, but not the next. It's not practical for vets to prescribe medicine because the bacteria is a normal part of an animal's system. As Dan and his family cling to the photos and memories of Sharon, they hope something more is done to prevent this from happening to anyone else.
I got 43 good years of my life, and I'll never lose them or forget about it.
There you have it. Wisconsin woman dies after contracting rare infection from a dog bite. Now, that's the way they had this in the article, as a dog bite. But if you paid attention, it said that she had a cut from the new dog. And that's how she ended up getting this rare bacterial infection. And over here, this article tells you that the man's legs were amputated after the dog's licks lead to the infection, family says. In this article, they actually give you some of the different problems that people could have that could cause them to be more susceptible to this issue. And so I was looking where it had the list of what the problems were. Said if you had a missing spleen. So
Wherever been
Looking through old photos is bittersweet.
brings back the good memories.
Dan's wife Sharon died suddenly at the end of June. She was 58, a devoted mother and grandmother.
I feel like I got robbed. Lost my best friend. My wife.
Their new dog Bo nipped at Sharon, causing a small cut. After severe flu-like symptoms, Dan brought her to Wheaton Franciscan. Within 2 days, she was gone. Doctors told him she tested positive for capnocetophaga, a bacteria found in the saliva of most dogs and cats. For most of us, it has no effect, but for some, like Sharon and this West Bend man who had his arms and legs amputated, it can have devastating consequences.
You know, the CDC doesn't track this because it is so infrequent, but we're hearing about it. It's happening.
She could get struck by lightning 4 times and live, win the lottery twice, and that's how rare this is supposed to be.
Infectious disease doctor Sylvia Munoz Price says people should not panic over these recent cases.
It is not reported because they are fairly infrequent. We are exposed to many, many, many organisms every day. And most of us, the majority, 99.999% of people never get infections.
The people typically affected are over 40, have weakened immune systems, their spleen removed, or compromised liver function. When it comes to dogs and cats, they can test positive for the bacteria one day, but not the next. It's not practical for vets to prescribe medicine because the bacteria is a normal part of an animal's system. As Dan and his family cling to the photos and memories of Sharon, they hope something more is done to prevent this from happening to anyone else.
I got 43 good years of my life. I'll never lose them or forget about it.
well, there you have it. The reason why I played it back is because I wanted to show the list of some of the contributors as to why some people may be susceptible to this rare infection. I just wanted to add, they say it's a rare infection, but the thing that causes people to be afraid about it is that even by them saying that it's rare, you don't know if you yourself, if you have pets, could end up getting something like this. And so it makes you a little nervous because they did say that it's already in cats and dogs in their system normally. And so, well, you can play the video again, but it does raise fears because now we've already heard the story about the man's issue. And now the woman, she actually died of this. And so I know this may seem contrary to what the lady from CDC is saying, even though they're saying it's rare. Now that we're hearing about it, like the news anchor person was saying, why do I feel like more cases will come out and it won't be as rare as they thought it would? Well, like, comment, subscribe. What do you think about this? I think it doesn't really do anything to squelch people's fear, especially if they're pet owners. And if they could possibly be the next person, nobody knows who. Thanks for listening.